Hola, hola, buenas noches, bienvenidos. Estamos transmitiendo en vivo. Somos EmprendHEC, una empresa de educación y tecnología enfocados en temas de emprendimiento, de innovación. Esta tarde, esta noche nos acompañan Diego Briceño, el maestro Diego Briceño, del Tecnológico de Felipe Carrillo Puerto, con quien tenemos este proyecto de Innovación Maya en el siglo XXI. Y también nos acompaña Sara Song. Sara Song es una especialista en administración, gestión empresarial, en capital de riesgo, capital privado para inversión en startups en Estados Unidos. Ella radica en Los Ángeles. Entonces, vamos a tener una interesante charla esta tarde, esta noche. Va a ser extraño porque tenemos una combinación. La introducción está siendo en español, pero la charla con Sara va a ser en inglés porque ella no habla español, pero vamos a hacer esa charla en inglés. De cualquier manera, la gran ventaja que tenemos con la tecnología actualmente es que de hecho ya están activados los subtítulos. Nos dicen por favor si efectivamente ya nos están escuchando, si nos están viendo, para poder nosotros comenzar. Entonces, de hecho, espérenme, sí, ahí estamos. Bien. Voy a hacer una pregunta nada más para validar si nos están viendo. Y de hecho hago una pregunta por aquí. Staff, ¿nos ayudan para validar si ya estamos al aire? Todo nos indica que sí, pero una ventanita que yo tengo acá. Espérenme entonces poquitito. Sí, sí estamos todo. Entonces, ok, bien. Sí, todo está bien. Es que tengo yo un mini. Ah, perfecto. Ya muy bien, ya nos confirmaron. Gracias. Sí, es que de pronto algo nos pasó aquí con el staff que está revisando todo y ya entonces ya comenzamos. Bien, entonces, primera parte de esta charla, el maestro Diego nos va a presentar, nos va a hacer el favor de presentar a Sara y después de la presentación de Sara vamos a iniciar con el diálogo. Pues Diego, qué gran gusto que ya finalmente nos acompañas. Habíamos tenido algunas sesiones, en alguna participaste, pero qué bueno que ya estás nuevamente por acá.
Gracias, Pablo. Pues antes que nada, muchísimas gracias a todos los que nos están viendo, a todo el equipo de trabajo que está detrás de este gran proyecto y a Sara, muchísimas gracias y bienvenida. Voy a presentar a Sara. Sara Song es originaria de Corea del Sur. Ha realizado su carrera en diversas áreas como gestión empresarial, capital de riesgo, consultoría en administración, finanzas, tecnología y recursos humanos, donde ha ganado y aplicado experiencia en consultoría, coaching, operación y crecimiento de negocios, marketing y análisis de negocios. Ha tenido la oportunidad de asociarse con numerosos ejecutivos de empresas nacionales e internacionales, con quienes ha colaborado para estructurar sus proyectos, facilitando la toma de decisiones estratégicas. Ha colaborado en empresas como Google y se ha desempeñado también como analista para firmas de capital de riesgo. Ha conocido de primera mano qué es y cómo es que inversionistas globales toman sus decisiones para apostar a los emprendedores. Sara apoya a aquellos jóvenes emprendedores proporcionándoles conocimiento en las áreas de captación de fondos, relación con inversionistas, crecimiento, desarrollo de negocios, estrategia, desarrollo de marca y marketing. Se graduó de la Universidad de California en Irvine con estudios de Relaciones Internacionales y Gestión Empresarial. Recientemente completó su formación en emprendimiento mediante el programa Stanford Review de la Escuela de Posgrado en Negocios de la Universidad de Stanford. Allá mismo es donde conoce a Paulo. Muchísimas gracias por estar con nosotros, Sara. Thank you to join with us, Sara. Adelante, Paulo.
Yeah, so esa fue la presentación de Sara. Sara, Diego just have made a great introduction of yourself, your professional
Okay.
profile. Y ahora Vamos a estar cambiando un poquito esta charla. Ya saben, este va a ser en inglés, pero también pueden colocar sus preguntas en el chat, pueden colocar sus preguntas aquí en Facebook, pueden colocar sus preguntas también en EmprendHEC. También estamos monitoreando EmprendHEC para poder estarlos atendiendo. Lo que vamos a realizar en esta charla es un poquito diferente. Habíamos pensado en simplemente una presentación de parte de nuestra invitada, pero más bien vamos a hacer por completo un diálogo. El formato se llama Fireside Chat y tenemos algunos temas que vamos a estar tratando con Sara. Entonces, por lo pronto, Diego, pues muchísimas gracias por la introducción. Nos vemos en un ratito para que si nos haces el favor también de al final para cerrar el evento y mientras nos quedamos con nuestra invitada.
Claro que sí, gracias.
Let me just, there it is. Okay, Sarah, how are you?
I'm good. How is my, well, first I wanted to check my,
Yes, your camera just freezed. Yeah, it's kind of better right now, but it is going to be, I think, even better.
is it even better or is it not good? This Microsoft Teams, by the way, it's okay. I'm not used to, yeah, now the angle changed. I don't know. After Diego left, now the angle changed. I'm like, why am I?
Yeah,
Okay,
but
but before any camera or anything, I want to check my volume. Volume is most important because we are talking today. How is my volume right now?
yeah, it is like changing, but please, it is some kind of if it was adjusting by software, not for the hardware. So some configuration, but just talk loud and feel like you're hosting a TV show or something, and that it's going to be great.
All right. Well, but if it is too low, definitely let me know. Okay.
Okay, so
And
Sarah.
also the audience too. Can you translate this in Spanish? That if they cannot hear anything, please let us know right away because it's a live. So we are engaging each
Yeah.
other.
Para los que no nos alcanzaron a escuchar esta parte, si detectan que de inmediato el audio, que algo está pasando con el micrófono de Sara, por favor nos indican para hacer una pausa, si su imagen, cualquier cosa, ya está conectada desde Los Ángeles, para poder nosotros hacer los ajustes y continuar con la charla. Pero bueno, vamos a comenzar. Okay, Sarah, I just told them that, and we're going to start with the conversation. So,
Awesome.
you came from South Korea to study to the US, and then you have your professional education, then you studied university, and then you started working. Talk us about a little bit about your professional background. What did you study, and what did you do on your previous professional working?
Sure. So, again, hope my mic is working because I know Paulo and we checked earlier, but my mic, I don't know, maybe it's software that we are using, like Paulo said. Yeah, Paulo, but if you don't mind, can I just make a quick introduction? Not quite intro, but like saying hi in Spanish that you help me to, translate or prepare. So just a few sentences.
That's great. Go ahead.
Okay, so again, thanks to Paulo, who was like my Spanish teacher just like yesterday. So, all right. Well, buen día a todos, or actually, buen día a todos. Soy Sarah Song. Nací en Corea del Sur. Ahora vivo en Los Ángeles. Es un placer estar con ustedes.
That's great.
That makes sense. I mean, I hope I see the live chat right now, but I don't see it because we're using Microsoft Teams. But yeah, I wanted to say it's very pleasure meeting everyone today, and also Paulo, my good friend at EmprendHEC, and great partner that we are working together. Thank you for having me again today, and hopefully you everyone enjoy my talk and also Paulo's conversation. So going back to your question, Paulo, yeah, so I, like you guys introduced me, I originally came from South Korea. I was a Korean immigrant. Now I'm a U.S. citizen living in Los Angeles. And it's been about more than 10 years now. So I definitely feel U.S. is my home, but also Korea is my mother country. So I have as a Korean American, feel proud of, proud of being Asian American in US every day. So yes, going back to your question, I studied international studies and also business management at UC Irvine. I think Diego or Paulo, you introduced me earlier, but University of California, Irvine is one of great university, University of California whole system, and I studied there, and then also after I graduated, I started different career. Maybe we can talk about it more today. But yeah, so Asian American immigrant living in US, I might have a good story to share with everyone in terms of be global. The word is yours, the catchphrase that Paulo and I built together. So hopefully I share, good story today.
Yeah, Sarah, it is great your story because you are this young professional female from other country in the US, start working with big dreams, and for many of the people in Latin America, that is a great story because many people in Mexico and Latin America, they want like to be global and like to reach for big dreams in the world. But talk a bit about your previous work, your experience. What have you been working with and with founders, with startups, with VCs?
Yeah, sure. So maybe we can start from after I graduated then. So maybe before even. So I was a transfer student. I don't know whether, I'm pretty sure Mexico also has that system in terms of transferring to school. So I was a transfer student. I went to New York State University, and then I went back to California. Well, not quite went back to, but and then after that I went to LA, and I was a transfer student from Santa Monica to Irvine. So while I was having this kind of longer education field in terms of my college experience, about like 5 to 6 years, which was, longer than usual students, I got to learn, and I started my full-time job. I was always kind of tutor, like freelancer, because I love teaching. I love talking to students. So I was doing that on my side time. But then my full-time actually started when I was working at Korean Los Angeles Festival Foundation as an event director, which is annual concert, annual festival that's very huge in Asian American society in LA, which is about 20,000 attendees annually. So that was a huge job, and that's really how I got to learn about being hustler, wearing a lot of different hats, and I also found myself that I'm really like.
Yes. Sarah, I'm sorry, I need to
Sorry,
interrupt
yeah.
you. Something happened with your mic that the volume went high and then just went very low.
Okay. Well, if in that case, should I change mine to
Yeah, I think it's better. So, yeah. So, guys, espérenos un poquitito. Es que les platico. Aquí que Sara estaba muy emocionada, ha estado muy emocionada para realizar esta charla con nosotros. Incluso consiguió este micrófono con estas entregas de un día para otro de Amazon, pero resulta que algo está pasando con la configuración y le está fallando este micrófono. Entonces ahorita se va a reconectar nuevamente con audífonos más tradicionales y para ver si ya se observa mejor. Now, with your camera.
Hold on. What about now? Okay, camera is working
Yeah,
fine.
and audio is better.
I'm just checking my Bluetooth so that you guys can hear me well. Hold on very
Yeah,
quick.
but Sarah, I
mean,
think something is happening with the camera because it is a strange image of you.
Okay, it's okay. Hold on very quick. What about now?
Okay, that's better.
What about microphone?
The mic looks hears great. It's hearing
Here's
great.
great?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, thank you for interrupting me. Guys, this is not Paolo's or EmprendHEC issue, by the way. I want to apologize that, I don't know, maybe today, well, because we rehearsed yesterday. It was fine, right?
Yes.
It's just maybe we should all kind of like forgive each other in terms of like this online thing. Hopefully you guys forgive us too, but I really don't know what's happening with my device today. So sorry about troubles.
Yeah, but even the image got better. The image got better and the audio is better now.
maybe it's meant to be then.
Yes, let me tell the people a little bit, a little message in Spanish. Bueno, para todos, para todas, ya arreglamos estos problemas. Vamos a continuar ya con nuestra charla normalmente. Disculpen estos detalles. Sara está en Los Ángeles, nosotros estamos en León, Guanajuato. Ustedes están conectados desde diferentes lugares, pero vamos a continuar. Okay, Sara, we were talking about your professional experience and your work with founders and with startups. Previous of what you're doing right now, and if you could talk a little about of the big things, the greatest things you saw there, you learned about, and things like that.
Okay, before anything, how am I here? Good or no? Can you hear me?
Yes, but it happened something with the mic. I think.
What about now?
Yeah, now it's better.
This is better?
Yes.
Okay, this is really better, right?
Better.
Okay, stop me again. All right, so, all right, where did we talk? What were we talking about?
Yeah, about your work with startups and founders and
yeah.
VC.
Sure. So yeah, I started my full-time job, and that was very, very, like we in terms of the size, it was huge. That was my first time getting a full-time, and that was a huge sizable business. Like again, the event, maybe we all know how hectic it is. However, it's like with 20,000 attendees annually, that's like huge event. And I joined there only with 2 more staff. So yeah, that was my back in the day, my full-time job. But I definitely learned how to be a hustler, how to wear a lot of different ways. I think I mentioned that. And then after that, I graduated UC Irvine. Maybe we can talk about the internships that I did when I was in the college and stuff later. But after that, I graduated, and then I went to this capital group for talent acquisition, which is HR. And because I really thought I have a passion for HR, which is I might still have, but at that time it was a corporate setting. So it was a little hard for me to really, really to be more exposed to the work and stuff. And then I got into Google, which is Google Fiber, and I was doing sales and business operation and account specialist, and then management consulting, and then up to June this year, which is a few months ago, I was working as a VC analysis for this early stage startup located in LA. They usually work with Korea and also Korean deals, and also Los Angeles, these local deals in terms of the investment for the early stage. So yeah, and now after that, I'm working currently as a independent consultant for, not quite independent consultant in a way, but also like investor relation partner and strategy partner for small, medium businesses and also startups with VC and also with founders. Not just located in LA, but also Korea. And like Paulo, which is, even though we didn't meet in terms of like consultant in a way, but like startups who are like doing in Mexico. And also I have few startups that I'm working with in Dubai, and then in Israel. And I think I'm going to have more later too. So yeah, that's what my currently doing. Maybe I can elaborate that later once we talk more.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's great, Sarah. And related to these open global programs, in which of one we met at this program called Stanford Rebuild for Stanford Graduate School of Business, and there have been other programs you actually participated, like MIT COVID Challenge. We had the co-director of MIT COVID Challenge here on this program also. But for me, it is like global communities of entrepreneurs and innovators are solving big scale problems, and opportunities for global people, multi-diverse, multi-everything communities are being created all around the world. So I wanted to ask you a question. Do you think opportunities are open for all the people around the world, even if they are not studying in a top university or they don't have the best circumstances? Do you think are opportunities open for all?
That's a great question, Paul. I'm glad that you asked because, I also got exposed to a lot of different founders, and not just founders, company team members who are not, and also students in college who doesn't really have a great privilege compared to any other ones, right? So I got to hear and share this story. In terms of your question, my one answer that I could give it to everyone is opportunities are always there. That's what I wanted to say. No matter what class you are in, no matter what age you are in, how much your experience, how much you have your dream, no matter how much your resources are, I'm pretty sure opportunities are all given to the world. Maybe somebody say, oh, maybe she doesn't know my situation, or maybe she never had that kind of experience. But however, I can tell I also had a lot of ups and downs in my life, and maybe I already shared my personal story, which is I'm an immigrant. Immigrant life and living in U.S. that I chose to live here, America, leaving my mother country, which was my comfort zone. Definitely needed to hustle. So what I mean is I don't want to really say a lot about my personal story, but to give you guys in terms of like what I believe is opportunities are always there. And also one thing, maybe two things that I wanted to say in terms of opportunities. I really want to say that opportunities are not that far. What I mean is the existence opportunities are always very close to us. So, maybe the word opportunity could be like, oh, you need to find a bigger like success, or you need to find a bigger jobs or bigger career. I don't really believe that. Everything, even you can find, oh, maybe I can talk to this friend, or maybe I can do the stranger and do interview or something like that. Very minor thing could be all the opportunities. So yeah, no matter what your situation is, I mean, okay, to be really fair, if you have more privilege or if you have more resources to be accessible, then you have more opportunities in a way to network and stuff, but everyone can find it, right? The word is yours. So yeah, that's what I believe.
Yeah, and also we met because of one of these open programs that were designed during COVID. Even during COVID, innovation has been happening, entrepreneurship has been actually happening, and we met in a program. And will you talk a little bit about how important is to be willing to participate in this type of programs to create relations all over the world?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with, many things you mentioned, but at the last part you said about the network, I do believe the network is the key. And also if there is any channel that can help everyone to build a network, such as, in terms of even like online resources, and also the program like EmprendHEC, who are working as of the bridge between founders or opportunities that we just talked about, and also the resources. I do believe if anyone can participate and also, get really insight in terms of those opportunities or those chances, I think everyone needs to try it. Yeah.
No, that's great. That's great. And also, being in your case, young woman for another country in these areas which are very, very highly competitive, what advice would you give to young people in general who still think about making a career in the country or region where they are born, where they were born, because they don't even consider that it is possible to be or succeed globally?
Mm-hmm. So my I think, Paulo, because I need to really say it because I didn't want to be too formal today, right? Because my personality, I think Paulo and I, we already built a good relationship. So even though those questions sound formal, I really want to be kind of like open-minded to all the answers. So going back to what Paulo just said, I wanted to share that who cares? That was my first reaction. Who cares what background you have, what story you had? Definitely those are great color that you bring to the world, right? Because everyone has different stories. Everyone has different ups and downs. And especially during this uncertain time, we really see a lot of sad news, a lot of good news too, a lot of war news. The world is still changing, even though what kind of background we have, what kind of circumstances we had, and also the weakness we had, and also strengths are too, right? So what I believe is I think everyone really needs to look for the positive way in terms of building whatever you have inside. Bring that to the storytelling, like bring that to really build a storytelling so that you can actually make more people in terms of understanding others. Don't be so stuck in whatever your worrying is or whatever you're stressed out, because that will not make you move forward, but that will actually just stop you there. And yeah, and like this time, have a good friends, even though we cannot really meet offline right now because of COVID-19, unfortunately. However, talk out loud, share your concern, because people are there always to listen to you. Yeah. So again, who cares was the one that I make your difference, really, really sharpen your skill set, and that should be good. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. And also, because we are mostly talking to young students and to teachers, and many teachers also are very young. Young is a paradigm about you don't have much experience, you don't know much about life, you don't know much about almost anything. And the world is now like super highly competitive. Not only your region, but globally, and with people competing with each other all around the world. So for many young people, it is like an impossible mission to succeed. So in more formal cultures and other industries, age is very important to know about someone's competence. But in the startup and founders world is different. It is much different. Even in the innovation world, it is much more different. Can you talk a little bit about how the global startup and founders world is related to age, looking, style, and culture?
Oh yeah, so I think at least I met what about say like 100 plus startup founders, and everyone has different interests, because that's how they build their own different business model, and also now they're bringing to companies. But also not just that, everyone has different backgrounds, again, different stories, right? So yeah, in terms of that, I think that those questions are kind of overlapped with what we said earlier, because maybe I covered or maybe I talked long in terms of just one question that you mentioned. But yeah, those founders, just one thing that I remember is, while I'm meeting these many founders who are so passionate about their own building, like own business model, and also not just business model, how they can impact the world with their with their new things, right? New ideas or new plans. I'm always impressed by them. But those, even though everyone is very impressive, but those are the ones that I really remember as highlighted ones that I want to hear their story more, is definitely the person who brings their own story to the business or to the service or to the product that they are building. So collaboration in terms of what I can bring it to my business, blending in together and then make your own story, not just so for example, I want to give you a really simple example. So let's say I'm just using my cup, but like here cup, right? And then if this is my product and service that I provide, instead of people looking at me as Sarah, as a founder of this cup business, and let's say that this cup is what I invent, then I don't, most of the founders were not quite impressive. They just kind of like want to say, oh yeah, this is a great product that I built to the world. I want to make a huge change with this product that I'm making. Instead of that, maybe make your personal brand collaboratively working with how you build a product well, blended with your story too. So yeah.
Yeah, and I think I'm going to elaborate a little bit more about this question related to the next. Here in Mexico and also in other parts of Latin America, it is like a cultural thing of entrepreneurs. Like when the first big money you win is to buy your BMW or your Mercedes-Benz or something like that, or your Porsche. And you don't even have to have a great way of living or a house or anything, but you want to make things look like you're successful. I mean, you're not really successful, but you make everything to look successful. So your finance, your everything goes down because you didn't manage well your income. So in that sense, and also people, entrepreneurs spend a lot, like for example, in clothing and in some other things related to lifestyle. But in the startup and founders world, it is more like, at least what I've seen is more relaxed. And they don't even really like to be trying to make an image of themselves like the big successful businessman. So how is that world of founders that you have met there in the US?
Oh, yeah. Well, again, all the founders have different characteristics, right? Because everyone is different, and founder is also human being. Like investors are also another human being too, right? So like everyone has different characteristics. However, like you just said, Paulo, yeah. But one thing that I mean, this is my thing. No one really hates a person or people who are not, who are humble. Yeah, humble, like, so being humbleness is very, very important, no matter what you do. I mean, not just founders or VC or those stuff, like those startup related professionals, but just we all have gotta be humble. So that's just one thing. But alongside of that, I think having your brand and having your color and putting out there, and again making with your story and blending it out and really shine your strength is another skill set that a lot of founders, a lot of even investors, a lot of business people in general do not really have it. And it could what I believe is it looks easy, but if you actually think about it and try to build your own brand or what your color is, it's really, really hard. I took a lot of time for me to figure out, okay, maybe I know like what I'm good at it, but I might not know what color I'm really bringing to the organization, to the people that I'm making an impact, stuff like that. So having that skill set again is very hard and it takes time. So, no matter whether you're founders, like I'm talking to this audience right now, no matter your founders, no matter what classes you are in, no matter what your studies are, I think we all have to really sit down and then really think about, okay, what do I have, right? What do I have, something that other people do not have? And again, going back to our theme, being international, being global, use other online resources. And again, this kind of program, that everyone can have access will be helpful too.
Oh, thank you. And the other thing related to this is that because of culture, almost here in Mexico, mostly here in Mexico, it is like if you tell your ideas to the people that are your close one, your close social circle, and maybe they don't sense it is of great interest. It is not interesting. It is not like appealing, the things that you are doing. But if you dare to look for opportunities outside even your country, maybe you can find that some people find that what you are doing is amazing. So what I actually made the advice, but just for you, please to say it in your own words. What advice would you give to these young people who they know they're actually designing, building things that they know they are great, but in their closed social circle, they don't see him as something big? What advice would you give to them about being global, related with being global?
Oh, okay, I get it. Okay, well, okay, sounds good. So I think I quite didn't follow in the beginning, but now I understand. So yeah, I also heard, and I looked up the article too, that what I think I see the trend in a way, even though Mexico is still the word that I need to figure out more and I need to be more aware of, which is I'd love to do, by the way. But I found some articles that says a lot of students who graduated from college usually stay close to their family, so they are not quite trying to. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but they are not quite, trying to go and explore other world or other parts, other sectors, and usually because it's so familiar for them to be just close to their family or close friends and stuff like that, right? Advice, like you are asking, I think we could say, the first thing maybe I can say is be fearless. that's the word that I really want to say. You know, everyone has, maybe if we really think about why am I, even though let's say the opportunities are there, but if we really think about it and then say, why am I hesitant in terms of approaching that, right? I know the opportunities are there. I know if I go to that word or go to that place or go to that career, job, whatever it is, I know I can do it. But why am I hesitant? If you really think about it, because the fear is the one that who stopped us from, like, on the back, right? But just be aware that everyone, it's just a human characteristic that everyone is fear, has some kind of fear inside. But be fearless. Like, that's the word that I'm also talking to myself all the time, because I get scared a lot of things that people don't usually get scared of. You know, I do have that kind of weakness that I have, but I'm always trying to myself that just face it and interact with with people and seek advice as much as you can. Then already fear that you're thinking is gone. But one thing that I also wanted to add on to that is, if you overcome your comfort zone and if you actually get out of it, you are gonna see how much you grow after that experience. That's always coming naturally. So I really, I really recommend everyone to, even today, make a little minor action that you normally didn't do before, but something that you think, oh yeah, I never thought I would do it. But actually, in those actions cannot be just a minor thing. Like, just can be, it should be something that you really take your courage out to make an action. So yeah, sorry, my English sometimes doesn't work because it's late night here. It's like 6:30. But I'm pretty sure everyone knows what I meant.
Yeah, and also because of this closed social relationships and closed paradigms about I was raised here, I studied here, my family is here, so I want to find a job here and I want to die here. But the world is changing, and now during COVID it could seem that it is going again to this really close relationship, because almost anyone can go out and be traveling the world. But many people now during COVID, many people are suffering, not only because of COVID, but because they have lost their jobs, their projects are now on a standby, mentally they are stressed, and the economy has been hit really badly. But how do you see the startup world, the entrepreneur world, and the investment world during COVID? It is actually stopped also, or it is working, or it is even growing?
So yeah, I'm glad that you asked, because I think Paulo, maybe I asked you before about today's seminar or webinar that I wanted to talk about it in terms of the investor and startup trend happening this uncertain time. So I'm gonna read what I found, because I don't remember, but I have it on my notes here. So yeah, like, based on the recent study from NBER, National Bureau of Economic Research, 52% of startups have been positively impacted by the pandemic, or seen no impact to speak of when they surveyed nearly 1,000 venture capitalists, 572 in the US and 381 elsewhere to rate the health of the startups in their investment portfolios. So what does that mean is, let me reiterate what I found. I was also surprised when I found this stat, which is very recent. We always say during this COVID-19 crisis, during this uncertain time, which are very negative, and it should have not been happened. I do really believe that this is a sad situation that everyone's facing. However, in terms of startups and entrepreneurs and also investor market that I'm looking at, and those are criteria and parts and sectors that I'm closely working with right now, it's been very active in a way that people are seeking opportunities to invest and also to really make the business grow. So these stats are, however, like, I was thinking that, okay, maybe it could happen because of this trend, but when I found that over 50% of startups have been positively impacted by the pandemic, right? So this stat really told me that investors, startup entrepreneurs, and also just maybe humans in general really, really see the risk as of opportunities. Even though we are all stopping because we have this, we have these obstacles or disturbing factors that made everyone stop, there are always opportunities there. So, yeah.
Yeah, and also, as we were talking, Sarah, that, for example, the EdTech investment world has raised already $10 billion during this year in almost in seed stage startups, which means that technology for education is in its most dynamic era ever. And that is amazing. So exactly, the thing with crisis is that it brings out the most creative people. And right now is the moment like to be knocking doors and to be meeting new people globally, because the opportunities are already out there. And you're going to miss them if you're not there to be looking for new people.
Yeah, I do really believe that. I agree.
Yeah, and also, do you think, will anyone wait until we get to the post-COVID era to continue with our entrepreneurial efforts? Or do you see that there are opportunities now and the moment to act is now? We already said that, but maybe we can be really like straight to the point about act now.
I mean, you already got the answer. Yes, act now. One phrase that I've had before in my story too, like in my portfolio, was stop planning, start action. That's what we all have to do. Again, even the risks are out there, even though people are hesitant because it's a this kind of like period that everyone is slow, every economic is slow. Don't be slow, guys. Like opportunities, if you're seeking for it, maybe it's already gonna be gone because of somebody who already stole that, right? So use a lot of resources. I think maybe we can wrap it up because of the time too. Yes. I want to be respectful of time, but yeah, use a lot of resources and use this COVID-19 crisis time that the world shift has changed dynamically from offline to online pretty much. Use this time, use this slow time to really, really be fulfilled of yourself with all the resources that you can get. Accomplish a lot of stuff, such as free resources, free online certificates, skill set, stuff like that, right? So, and maybe we're gonna talk at the end, but reach out to me if you have any questions. I am, maybe Paolo can share my LinkedIn contact, my email. So yeah, I would love to get a lot of advice or a lot of concern or anything that I can share with you guys. So yeah.
Yeah, surely, and also because the moment to act is now. Just, I know that time flies when we are talking like this way, and the topics we are talking about are great, and that happens with time. But before getting just to the closing part, the other question is because there is this paradigm here in Mexico that, especially in Mexico, and especially in the technological engineering studies, the thing is, if they don't have their intellectual property or industrial property rights well protected, they prefer not to act and don't do anything, and they don't become entrepreneurs, and there are no startups and anything. What advice would you give to people which have fear of someone else like copying their ideas, and because of that they don't dare to advance or make progress?
Yeah. One thing that I'm thinking about, maybe you guys heard about it, especially now we're talking about startup founders, and everyone must be at least aware of what kind of startup pitch deck. Even though in pitch deck, if you really think about startup pitch deck, there is a slide that says competitor and competitor analysis. What I meant was, in terms of competitor, if there is no one who's having a similar ideas with what I'm thinking, there should be no competition. If there is no competition, I think there is no winner or loser, meaning there is no progress, right? So we gotta all accept that the truth is, whatever I can think of, 90%, let's say, I'm not talking about Steve Jobs, I'm not talking about, right? So maybe 90% like normal people, I would say, like us, general people, you use your just accept it as of the fact that I am thinking of this creative idea that, oh, maybe I'm the only one. Is actually you're not the only one. A lot of people might might have planned a similar way. However, maybe I can reiterate about what I said earlier. Act fast. You gotta be the pioneer in this market that you are building as of the first market in your industry, right? Act fast, even though you have a copycat or even though you have anyone who is following your business model or similar model, then it's fine. You just have to be you just have to be top leader for your vertical industry, right? Not quite horizontal way. So if you need more explanation, again, you can ask Paulo, you can ask me so that I can give out more resources too. But yeah, competition, and don't worry about anything. And in terms of organizers that you mentioned about, it's unfortunate if they stop the plan because there is another similar. Please do not make that happen. Have more resources to students, to startup founders, to whoever need resources. Make resources available so that people can grow. Young generation can grow. So yeah.
Yeah, and as time flies, we're passing to the closing section, and so sorry, if anyone would like to reach you, I will give them your LinkedIn and your information here on the chat. But before that, in what areas can you help young or not that young, but entrepreneurs and founders in general? And if you can talk about that, please.
Yeah, sure. So again, currently I'm working as an independent consultant / strategy partner for these small, medium businesses and also startups. So if you have any questions, and also investor relations. So if you are thinking about going to be global, which is be international, so out of Mexico, and then really have a plan for coming in US or like opening your market in US, I might be really resourceful in terms of US trend and US business, and also sharing my advice in terms of investor communication. And not just that, I do a lot of pitch deck enhancement. Basically, let's have a discovery call like this, one-on-one, and then we can really figure out how I can be helpful. So that's for that's for startup founders. For students who are still college or even grad school, or whoever has a question for career, I've done a lot of career panels before, like today, similar. So feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions. I can give you some advice. Hopefully that could be helpful, but yeah.
No, thank you, Sarah. And also, Sarah is actually our partner. He has been helping us with our pitch deck and giving us many advices and many things. And it has been great to meeting her on this program. And it is an example. If I, as a founder, as an entrepreneur, wouldn't have dared to participate on these kind of global programs, I wouldn't have had the opportunity to meet people like Sarah and many other people that now are working in some ways I'm pretty sure you can find here on your own social circle. So it is amazing to do this. And by closing this about global community, Sarah, do you see that this highly divided world, by many reasons, because of political and many other things, entrepreneurs or founders, do you think they need to create their own worlds, like their own communities, in forms of global communities, fostering global cooperation?
I mean, so as far as I think, yeah, that will be a great next project, whoever creates that, right? Because, once I think about network resource, especially the big one is LinkedIn. Even though LinkedIn has a great features, I think it is LinkedIn and also AngelList and, more resources that out there. However, there should be the one space, or not just one, but, at least more space in terms of making a bridge between founders and also investors and also whoever has an interest and passion for startups. So yeah, I believe that will be a great project or a great next takeaway.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, thank you, Sarah. And that's why we are working on EmprendHEC, because we want to build this virtual community of global community of entrepreneurs for Latin America, because it is everything you can find there is in Spanish. So that is great. And we are making this connection with people like Sarah and many other people we are meeting, like to make the link between the talent here and the opportunities in other places. So participate with us with the projects we are making with the National Institute of Technology here in Mexico, the different campuses we're working on. And well, let's say what the following next are having for us, because there are many people, students and teachers working now with the platform. Then in other time I will talk to you about it, Sarah, but it is great. So Diego, si estás por ahí, I'm going to speak a little bit in Spanish just for Diego to make the closing message. Diego, sure. si estás todavía por aquí, si pudieras unirte nuevamente a la sesión, nada más para hacer la despedida. Estuvimos tratando algunos temas de los que algunas personas por diferentes canales nos estuvieron preguntando. I'm telling them, Sarah, that we were covering some questions we were receiving during the talk, but let me just put the other, here it is. But just, I need to change the names. Here it is, and so, yeah, because ya están revisando de que aparecen los nombres por aquí cambiados, entonces, y ya en este momento, right now, there are the names, they're correctly displayed in the screen. You know, because you were actually in this meeting, Sarah, and then Diego entered into the meeting, I had a slide with the names on the below each one of you. And they were switched.
Okay.
So I
guess this is a software issue. Software issue. I mean, like, can somebody build a better one? I don't know. Because I never really had a technical issue before too, but yeah, today. So yeah.
There is always a first time, but the good thing is that I think the people that was hearing us like this presentation, like the talk, they are sending they're saying hi for many different places. Even from the north of the country, in Mexicali, they are saying hi. From Jopelchen, Zona Maya, and many other participants we had today. So I'm going to speak a little bit Spanish now just for Diego to make the closing message. Que Diego, mensaje, ¿cómo viste? No sé estos detallitos, pero... y tu audio, Diego, algo pasa ahora con tu micrófono. A ver, ahí.
Okay, like everyone is having issues. Wait, by the way, when Diego is setting up the technique, like what time is it there? I want to see everyone's time.
For them, it is almost 9 p.m. For them, for me, it is 8 p.m.
Okay. Now it's almost 7 p.m. here, so maybe I'm in the earliest one, so I cannot really make any excuse that my English is not working today, because you guys are actually in the later time. But yeah.
Ya, Diego, ¿tu micrófono funciona? No.
I can barely hear though. I can barely hear Diego.
Muy poquito, Diego, pero no sé ahora qué pasó. Well, in the meantime, meanwhile, Diego, just a closing message, Sarah, for young, middle-aged, and some of the teachers are not that middle-aged, but they are still young. A message for them, for them who want to pursue a career in entrepreneurship and to succeed globally. A final message for them.
Okay, but let me ask you this. What do you mean by young? Like, what age are we really talking about? I wanted to ask you before, but yeah, that's a great question, right?
That's a great question.
What do you mean by young?
Young, like each one of us.
Okay, good one. Okay, so I will say whoever has a good spirit, young spirit, no matter what age you are in. Maybe I can talk about it. So yeah, what was the question you asked?
A closing message for.
Oh yeah, closing
for
message.
eternally young people.
Okay, fine. Another young people. Okay, oh my goodness. All right. Well, so closing message. I think I really, today I didn't want to be kind of like, I didn't want to be a person who just gave the advice, but I think I did it. So, maybe I need to apologize if I really talk a lot, but you guys are really doing great. That's one thing that I wanted to say. No matter where you are in, why you are in, what time zone you're living in, what century you're living in, what age you are, everyone is really, really doing great. And I'm glad that Paulo said, maybe you also noticed that he kept emphasizing young, but I really believe that he really emphasized about young spirit, right? So let's really be young all the time, be hustler, don't be scared of wearing a lot of different hats, juggle here and there, use all this time as an opportunity. And again, one thing is, don't get stressed too much about COVID-19. No matter what business you got impacted, I feel sorry about those small, medium businesses or just corporates. Everyone got impacted by this uncertain time, and also your health crisis and a lot of different family crises. But no matter what, let's really see the positive, brighter side of the world, and let's really expect the better things gonna come after this whole hard time that everyone is experiencing in the world. So, yeah.
Thank you, Sarah. And by the way, Maestro Manuel Chávez Sáenz, he is the director of the Decentralized Technological Institutes of Mexico. It is like half of all the National Institute of Technology education system. So he says hi. He was hearing us. He's very pleased with the event, and he says hi also to you, to LA.
Gracias. Muchas gracias. Yes, muchas gracias.
Y Diego, ¿tienes ya audio?
Hola, ¿ya me escuchas? Yeah. Gracias. Thanks a lot for your talk, Sarah. We are very pleased too. Thank you. We're very happy to have you present with us, and we hope someday you can visit us to the Mayan Zone. You are invited to come with us. When
I have invited her to the Sustainable Mayan expedition.
Excelente. Muchísimas gracias también, Pablo, por todo este trabajo que estamos desarrollando en conjunto. Estamos muy contentos, ya nos estamos ampliando, ya estamos 4 tecnológicos ya participando. Además, seguimos invitando a más compañeros de los tecnológicos a sumarse a este proyecto bastante interesante.
No, qué bueno, Diego. Muchas gracias también a ustedes. Sarah, there are another 3 institutes of technology which now have students and teachers working on our platform in EmprendHEC, and I think 2 more are coming. So it is a great job, and with Sarah, I'm going to say this in Spanish for the people that are still connected. Sarah es una de las personas que nos va a estar ayudando a hacer ese vínculo global. Estamos creando esta red de vinculación porque el talento no se puede quedar detenido, no se puede quedar atorado. Necesitamos empujarlo y necesitamos que vea y que vaya siendo tangible que las puertas están para abrirse. Entonces eso es en lo que estamos trabajando. Pues muchas gracias a todos. Thank you very much for you, Sarah, for everyone. And I'm closing now the broadcast. Just give me, you guys, just a couple of minutes. I'm going to close the transmission and just to come back to you.
Good.
Y para todos, say please hi for everyone.
Thank you.